Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Again, for anybody that's new to the channel, my name is Tim. This is Freight Master Resources, where we provide tips, tools, resources, and some industry news to help you grow and be more successful in the freight industry. Okay, I hope everybody had a great Memorial weekend. Personally, I got to go out and do a little bit of trout fishing. Hit a few other fish, got some walleye, some pike, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it rained a lot here, so I didn't really get a chance to get my lawn mowed like I had hoped. And then when I did get around to it, when the rain let up finally, I think the belt on my rider, the upper belt on my rider for my PTO, it's stretched out. So yeah, and unfortunately every place that had it was closed. So it is what it is. So I guess I gotta get down this week and get a new belt and get the lawn done before I get in trouble with the wife, right? So I hope you guys were able to have fun. I guess it was pretty hot down south. We got a lot of rain up here. But it was dry down south, to my understanding from the weather. I didn't really catch to see how it was out west, but hopefully everybody was able to get out and enjoy themselves. So today I kind of wanted to talk about targeted freight prospecting. And this is really as a result of, and this is kind of stuff that I've touched on, over the course of doing these videos on this channel. But it seems like a lot of people that I talk to, especially new people coming in, is they don't have a target, right, for their prospecting efforts. And I read a lot of their emails, for their email marketing. Like maybe they can't get a hold of the prospect via the phone, but they have their emails. So they shoot off an email and it's very general, right? It's could be any shipper anywhere prospecting, right? Versus it being a little bit more like personalized, targeted to that individual prospect. Now, that might mean tweaking your emails a little bit, but I think once you decide on a specific niche, right? And we're always talking about niches, micro niches, niching down, things like this to help you grow and be more successful. That's no lie, right? It really, truly, like if your target is widgets, right? And and these widgets, let's say, are huge. They're made for the Jolly Green Giant, right? He's 50 feet tall, and so he requires a big widget. Okay, this is all obviously hypothetical, right? But those widgets are probably going to ship like over dimensional, right? Because they're going to be so big for the Jolly Green Giant and his family that uses them. Okay. So you are not going to send off an email or make a cold call that is very general, right? You are going to talk about things like, I specialize in, or I see that, you're making widgets of X amount of size. Again, this is all very hypothetical, of course, but I specialize in over-dimensional freight, overweight freight, things like this, and I understand the challenges that go along with it, yada, 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 right? Something to that effect. Versus, hello there, I'm a freight broker, and we primarily move full truckload, partial, LTL, da 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 da. it's all very, very general. But do you understand the needs of moving over dimensional sized widgets, right? That's what your prospect wants to hear. So I thought that I put together 10 tips that I hope will help you. If you're maybe struggling right now and you're one of those out there that are shooting out these very generalized emails, while they can be effective to an extent, your customers are going to be all over the place, right? They're not always going to be the right customer for you, right? Or for your carriers, right? And this all kind of revolves back around to building relationships, right? Otherwise, you're going to essentially probably be, unless you fall into it, which I suppose can happen, you're primarily just going to be working the spot loads, right? Because you don't have any set criteria. You don't have any. Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn my phone off there for a second. You don't have any real sense of direction. Okay. And so everything's going to be very sporadic. And by having a targeted shipper or type of shipper that you go after, is what's essentially going to help sustain you and your carriers during a downturn in the market, right? Versus, things kind of dropping off all over the place. And I'm not saying that you can't diversify your portfolio. In fact, I highly suggest it to some extent, but only after you have that target niche, right? Like if you're moving over dimensional freight or overweight freight, that type of thing, then, maybe diversify into, regular open deck freight, right? Flatbed, step deck, RGN, that kind of thing. Diversify a little bit, but I would suggest keeping it somewhat similar. I wouldn't suggest, running out and grabbing the first dry van customer you can get a hold of, that ships loads of pallets or something. Okay. So targeted prospecting is key for freight brokers to find the right shippers and build a strong client base. And here are some effective strategies to consider. These are those 10 for you. Okay. Understanding your ideal client. All right. You need to do some market research. Identify your target market by industry, shipment size, and frequency, and geographical location. Research their current logistics solutions and common pain points. Okay. These are all things that, regardless of what the market is doing, whether it's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's whatever, your customers, your prospects are going to have pain points, right? In some capacity. All right. So the more you understand that customer, right, that prospect, the better your odds of success. All right. Number 2, consider niching down, right? Like I mentioned earlier, maybe you excel in refrigerated freight or oversized cargo. Target companies that need that specific expertise, right? If you're moving over dimensional freight, don't go jumping over into produce, not knowing, what temperature that corn needs to ship at, or, not knowing that it needs to be iced, or things like that. Okay. Building your prospect list. Okay. Utilizing your industry directories, publications, and association memberships to find potential clients. Along with that, obviously, I would highly recommend, and that's one of my recommended tools and resources, is eCarrierCheck, right? They have got a plethora of shippers in there, and they've got them all broken down by industry. Okay. So for myself personally, when I'm targeting a specific prospect, whether it be for myself or someone within my new network that's struggling to find shippers, I literally just run to eCarrierCheck. right? Because it's got everything at my fingertips. I can look up by industry, location, etc. So that is a very quick way to reference to source prospects in your niche. Okay, so again, I highly recommend eCareCheck. I personally use it. I love it. All right. Online tools. Freight broker softwares can identify companies based on specific criteria and offer lead generation features. All right. I think that's sort of self-explanatory. Social media. Connect with potential clients on LinkedIn, Twitter, even inside. I was hesitant about adding this, but even in Facebook groups, because I see a lot of people, whether it's in our group or in other groups, whether they're a trucking company or a broker or, maybe they're both, they're a trucking company and a brokerage. They want to post their ad. They want to post their ad. But while there are some shippers in Facebook groups, they're not as, there's not like a plethora of them, in there. So you're more or less just kind of, it's almost like a useless effort. Shippers in Facebook groups will post that when they're looking for help, right? It's very rare that they're going to see your graphic and your little paragraph there with, hey, pick me kind of a thing. All right. I would suggest joining LinkedIn groups, right? Whether they be industry related or shipping manager type groups, that kind of thing. There's a bunch of them on there. LinkedIn literally has a ton of different groups. Reaching out and building relationships. Okay. Craft your value proposition. What number are we on? Are we on 6? I was counting down and then I got sidetracked. Okay, yeah, we're on 6. All right, so number 6, clearly communicate how your services benefit the shipper. Highlight cost savings. Okay, now I don't mean you're going to get them the cheapest rate. What I mean by that is through efficiency improvements or specialized solutions that you offer, right? Bringing and it not even specialized, or it might be specialized. That could go back to one of those pain points that your prospect is having, right? But because they're following whatever process to get that load moved, you might be able to save them money by handling it for them directly. Okay. Number 7, attend trade shows, conferences, and industry gatherings to connect with potential clients and build relationships. This is something that we've talked about in the past. And what I don't mean going to logistics, or the DAT shows, which obviously those are all fun, trucking expos, things like this. If your target is widgets, right? We'll go back to our over-dimensional sized widgets. Then look for those industry events in your area, and if you're able to travel, then so be it. But attend those shows, right? Those conferences, things like that. It might be in ground plastics. It might be steel coils. It might, whatever. It might be a produce trade show, things like this. Bring some business cards with you, maybe some pens, things like this. Bring a notepad, collect emails, names, phone numbers, things like this, right? Obtain that information while you're there, okay? Or bring a tablet and collect all of that information. Use your CRM, right? Obviously, I like HubSpot, and it's free. So if you're looking for a CRM and your current system does not have a CRM, I highly recommend HubSpot. Like I said, it's free. I use it. Never had any issues with it. It's been pretty good for me over the years, and I've probably been using HubSpot for a long time, at least 10 years, I think. So let's see, what number are we on? Number 8, content marketing. Publish informative content about logistics challenges and solutions. This establishes you as a thought leader and attracts potential clients. What I forgot to add in there was do this on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is a very, very, very powerful tool, whether you're a carrier or a broker, okay? But by sharing that information, and it might even be a LinkedIn Connect, right? Send them that information in your connection request, okay? Or as a follow-up, even, you make that connection and, hi, Bob, it's me again, and then share that, I thought you might find this interesting or something like that. Okay. Number 9, referral network. Obviously, this is something else that we've talked about before. Develop relationships with carriers and other logistics companies to gain referrals. Okay. This can go back to your own customers providing you with referrals. By having strong carrier relationships, they will oftentimes provide you with referrals. I've gotten numerous referrals from carriers over the years. Hey, Tim, I really like this shipper. I like this lane, don't like the broker. Or whatever. Or I used to run this, for a while, but, we downsized for a little while. If you could maybe call and get us back in over there, that would be great. And they provide me with the information, and, we try to make that happen. So again, that goes, build your relationships. Like I said, I know I beat that into the ground, but it truly, 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 truly one of the greatest assets to your success in the freight industry. Okay. And last but not least, number 10, persistence is key. Don't give up after one attempt, right? Schedule consistent follow-up calls and emails to maintain communication and build trust. Now, this is something that I've talked about, I think, once or twice before, not directly related, but about persistence. And that is my uncle, when he was young and was out looking for his first job, lived close to the Kellogg's plant, right? And so, there wasn't a lot of jobs around there in the area, I guess, and at least I don't believe so. But he went to Kellogg's every single day. And the guy that did the hiring and firing, nope, go home, kid. Nope, go home, kid. Day after day after day. After about the end of the second week, he finally goes, you know how to push a broom? Right? And so he did. And then he worked his way up through the company, over the years. Eventually he did leave, but persistence is key. You go back to that old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of a thing, whatever you want to use, but be persistent, right? By implementing these targeted prospecting strategies, freight brokers can connect with the right shippers, okay, showcase their value proposition, and build a successful business. Guys, I really hope that you absorb all of that, because again, it's going to be very, very beneficial to your success. Okay. My last show, what was it, on Thursday? We did a live, and I realized that was kind of short notice. Didn't really kind of get the response, but we had a little bit of a giveaway there at the end. It was a download. It was a PDF that I had put together for freight brokers. I am going to be putting together another video, but this one is for carriers. And I believe I titled it "The Road to Success: Best Sales Practices for Trucking Companies." Okay. So if you're a trucking company, whether you're an owner operator, small fleet, large fleet, doesn't matter, and you are struggling to find your own direct customers, pay attention to, please join me in tomorrow's video, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule that shortly after I get done with this video, and post that so you can go ahead and set a reminder to join me, and I will kind of do something very similar to last Thursday's, where you'll need to comment and then email me to get a copy of that PDF. Okay. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday, had a great weekend and everything, like I said. And if you're looking for more tools, resources, things like that, down in the description down below, again, those are the ones that I recommend, that I use, and they've been absolutely fantabulous for me. With that, I won't take up any more of your day. And as always, be kind to one another. Bye-bye now.